This is a very interesting story. Let's put it up there on the screen, which is that Cesar Conde, he's the new head of NBC News, is a board member of Walmart and Pepsi, and he's vowed himself to recuse from related news stories. Now look, this brings a whole new dimension to the idea of corporate media. Usually there's at least one layer removed from the Comcast boss, who's like the CEO of the company and sits on all these other boards. This is like the head of the news division,
right,
who literally sits on the board of Walmart and Pepsi. And I mean, I don't really know how that's defensible. Like, usually they at least try to make the news divisions separate from other corporate entities and more. And this whole like recusal thing, look, if you know the boss takes money from Walmart, are you going to do a story about Walmart? Like, what if there was the Today Show, they used to do this type of stuff all the time, like highlighting workers or whatever, do like a big investigative package of, workers being mistreated by Walmart. Are they going to do that? Are they going to do stories about like Nabisco and Pepsi and about abusive practices? Or whenever it comes to, post-pandemic, and they did that whole new Peeps thing, which I found a disgusting,
horrifying
concoction.
Societal
What
decline.
A Peeps soda, which is, oh God. It needs to be banished to whence it came. But all of this being said, I guess it's just a joke, I do think this is really bad. I mean, to have the head of the news division be straight up on the board of Fortune 500 companies, I don't know if that's a norm. Obviously, we all know corporate media is a thing, but this just makes it almost so like in your face. It's not even a surprise. Most people didn't even pick up on this. And I was like, hey, like this is kind of crazy, guys.
That's the other thing that's really interesting about it is that this almost went unnoticed.
Yeah.
This is not a secret that he was on these boards, but it took for another column that was written about NBC's direction that happened to mention this, that anyone even really noticed and thought that this might be a problem. On the other hand, I guess I kind of like that it's so blatant. Like, let's just have them be employed by the masters that they actually serve. Have people see what they're really up to, Because right now, look, the bottom line is the way that they get their money is from corporate advertisers. And so the idea that there's going to be a total separation between what's happening in the commercial ad break and what's happening on air is really kind of silly. I mean, they're worried about their bottom line. That plays out in a lot of ways, but it is a particularly grotesque indication of how everyone has just come to accept that media is totally corporate. This idea of any sort of like journalistic mission or commitment to challenging power seems to go out the window. Nowadays, they're much more interested in access journalism and cozying up to power, being part of those social circles, than they are actually challenging it. And this is a very sad sign of that.
Alec McGillis made a great point. He recently wrote that book on Amazon, and he was like, look, I used to work at the Washington Post, and if this is the Washington Post in the days before Jeff Bezos, they would probably be doing stories about their hometown and how it's being, transformed by Amazon, which is that Amazon, by putting their headquarters in Crystal City, which is right here in Washington, like right outside in terms of suburbs, they're going to dramatically affect everybody's real estate price. I mean, are you not going to, like, the hometown paper should be writing stories and really talking about this. And look, they will, but are they ever really going to report anything that is critical to Amazon? And for example, will the Pentagon paper version of Amazon, whatever, if it exists, will that ever be published by the Washington Post? No. Like, let's be honest, it just won't. And I think that's crazy. I mean, he's the world's richest man. Like, that's something you should probably want to cover. And same with one of America's largest companies. Walmart, just so everybody knows, is the largest employer in the United States. I mean, how can you have it so that a news organization is directly headed by somebody who has a tie to that company? I mean, that's crazy. You can't do an investigation of their... And I'm not saying there is anything to investigate right now. Maybe in the future. I mean, who knows? I don't know.
And there's also a story here about the coziness between establishment liberal politics and corporate America, because NBC and MSNBC, I mean, this is ground zero for the liberal resistance. And yet at the same time, the guy who's running the news division is so cozy with corporate America that he's literally sitting on the board of two of the largest companies in the entire country.
Totally crazy. All right.
Tomorrow on Rising, Emily Trzcinski is back in for Saagar plus
That's right.
filmmaker Jerry Corbelli is going to discuss the UFO videos from the Pentagon that were leaked to him. Vice News' Edward Unweso Jr. is going to discuss how Amazon's new algorithm will track workers' body movements.
There is a lot there. I'll be in sunny Florida. Remember to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of our videos. Don't forget to like and share as well. And I will see you all next week.
Have a good one, guys.